Well, there's been a spike in summer travel, and at the top of the list, a trip to Spain. Spain is opening its borders to vaccinated travelers on Monday. One of the country's highlights, Madrid. The capital city is known for its culture, delicious food, and stunning scenery.
The city has one of the finest collections of Spanish and Latin American art spread across its many museums and galleries. It's even home to the oldest restaurant in the world. But if you can't go there, well, guess what? Why not stay here in the U.S. and go to St. Augustine, Florida?
Yeah, that's an option. America's oldest city is full of Spanish influence and the perfect alternative to a trip to Spain without ever leaving the U.S. Now, earlier we spoke with Trip Savvy General Manager Molly Fergus to find out what makes the two so similar.
St. Augustine is the oldest continuously occupied city in the U.S. It was settled by the Spanish, so it has tons of Spanish influences around it. And one of the greatest things you can do there is the Flagler College. This is the former Hotel Ponce de Leon, and it is this enormous Spanish Renaissance building, and it's just gorgeous.
And one of the biggest attractions in St. Augustine is the Castillo de San Marcos. The monument is one of the oldest masonry forts in the continental United States.
Yeah, Park Ranger Jill Leverett joins us on the phone now. Jill, thanks so much for being with us. Now, the fort was built by the Spanish in 1672. Can you tell us a little bit more about its history?
Yeah, well, with the Castillo, there's really no little bit of history because, as you said, built 1672, so we're coming up on 350 years of history. But it is the oldest masonry fort in the continental United States, and it's one of only two fortifications in the entire world made out of coquina stone. The other one would be Fort Matanzas, which is the other half of our park. It's a little watchtower about 15 miles south of the main city. So those are the only two forts in the world made out of coquina. And this Castillo has been through 3 major sieges and several smaller attacks, and it's never lost a fight. It's changed hands between countries several times, but the only way that happens is by a signature on a piece of paper. It's always a treaty or an agreement of some kind.
Wow, a lot of history there. So let's talk about who built it, the Spanish. So what Spanish influences can be found in the design of the fort?
Well, the actual design of the fort, the square shape with the 4 diamond-shaped bastions on the corners, that design comes out of the Renaissance in the mid-1400s. So the main design of the fort is not uniquely Spanish. You'll find forts like it all over the world. But once you get into the fort, you start seeing little details that really show its Spanish heritage. The Spanish were big on decoration and embellishment, even in their military fortifications. So this whole fort, picture it plastered white inside and out. That little round guard tower you can see on the corner would have been painted red, and there were red and even yellow accents on the inside of the fort and little decorative masonry accents that really give it that Spanish flair.
So we're getting the VIP treatment talking to you, Jill, but what can other people do if they want to come to the fort and learn more about it?
Well, they can do exactly like you're doing. Talk to the park rangers. That is why we're here, to answer any questions you might have about the fort. When visitors come in, they also get a self-guided walking tour that will guide them through the rooms of the fort and through the chronology of the fort's history.
Well, let's talk about the Spanish influences, because not just the fort there. Apparently, there's a lot of influence from the Spaniards all around St. Augustine.
Correct. And if it hadn't been for the fort itself, none of that Spanish influence would be in the city. Because in 1702, when the English attacked from Charleston, this fort and the Spanish win the siege. They come out victorious, but on their way out, the English burned down the entire town. So the Spanish are the ones who rebuild the whole city. So if the fort had not been here, the city likely wouldn't be here anymore either. And it may have been rebuilt by different people over the years.
And of course, Florida, no stranger to hurricanes and tropical storms. Jill, quickly in about 15 seconds, how is the fort protected from the wind and rain of the storms?
Well, the thickness of the walls really helps. They're anywhere from 9 to 15, 16 feet thick. Also, the National Park Service has done some preservation work over the years, including a waterproof membrane on the gun deck under the surface that you walk on. And we can also replace the stones on the very tops of the walls if they've been damaged.
Great information. That's Park Ranger at Castillo de San Marcos, Jill Leverett. Thank you so much for speaking with us.